Wrestling games from the 90s, especially on the N64, are some of my favorite games of all time. I was obsessed with WCW vs NWO, World Tour, and Revenge. So knowing that AEW Fight Forever could possibly provide a fun experience like I used to have, of course I'm intrigued and I had to get my hands on this game. And honestly, AEW Fight Forever is very much a wrestling game that brings back those memories and that goofy fun that I used to have. It's probably the most I've laughed when playing a video game in a very long time. If you're thinking this is going to be a tactical wrestling game to the point where it's a simulation and every move is precise, don't. And instead, embrace a wrestling game that is not perfect, and that in itself is what brings the laughter and the fun. AEW Fight Forever has a good amount of content to get you started, with Road to Elite, daily and weekly challenges, battle royale, ladder matches, explosive matches, and of course online play, where you can go up against others from around the world, either solo or tag teaming with your friends. The question is, will the content be enough without you buying the DLC? But we'll get to that later. Let's start off with talking about the in-game currency. Completing matches, challenges, and most importantly, winning your matches can score you in-game cash where you can buy apparel, new arenas, moves, entrances, and more items such as adding more wrestlers to your roster. Let's go ahead and buy Cody Rhodes since he's right here. This was bought with in-game currency, no microtransactions at all needed, and I got to him pretty quick. I got a lot of money pretty quick. When doing Road to Elite, which is the story of the game, you can use the in-game currency to purchase prep meals and boosters, and these will heal and replenish your character. Because after each match, your wrestler will need to hit the gym, eat, visit the sites of the cities that they travel to, and this gives you back your energy. Sometimes they can even get injured, which requires a visit to the hospital. Then you can move on to the next match with the health that you have, and the more that your stats are up, the better that you're going to perform. When it comes to the meat and potatoes of AEW Fight Forever, Road to Elite is a big part of it. I played as Sammy Guevara, my favorite, and I quickly noticed that there is a script that you have to go by. I guess I wasn't always supposed to win, at least that's how it seemed. This match in particular, I was destroying Malachi Black. Absolutely destroying this man. I executed my signature and then my special finisher, and any other time this would be a win. He's ready to be pinned, and then out of nowhere he counters and spits mist all up in my face, and I'm like, what the hell just happened? Sammy would not recover and I lost. After the match, Malachi, he gets on the mic, he tells me that he sabotaged our other matches because we were tag team partners. And as much as I don't like to lose, it's fun to play along and see the storyline unfold. Listen, me and Malachi have beef after this. Oh, hell no. The Sammy and Malachi fallout is just funny to see. So yeah, you can clearly tell that there's a script going on, it's a career mode, and you kind of go in line with it, and it's pretty fun to do. As you might have noticed, there's no voice acting, and I did somewhat wish for it, as well as the commentators to talk a bit more, but at the same time, it really hit home to give me that old school N64 kind of feeling. Same with scenes like this. These still images in the background, they had me smirking, thinking this is kind of low budget, but I like it too at the same time. Same when it comes to traveling to the next city. I mean, look at this. How retro does this look? If you wanted to, you could use your created character for Road to Elite, as well as your typical exhibition matches and when going online. Once you create a character, you can use that character in all aspects of the game. And as far as the creator goes, it was decent. Nothing too deep or detailed, a few hair choices, skin tones, and some apparel to choose from. As a female wrestler, I had access to these, as you can see. And you can also customize your entrance, give yourself a nickname to be announced as, and customize your moves, which can take some time. I didn't really get too deep with it as I just wanted to kind of hurry up and play. And as somebody who doesn't need the most intense customization, I didn't really have any complaints about it. Except one major thing. I really wish the entrances were extended and a bit longer. They are kind of short. Even when using options to customize it, I never see my wrestlers walk down the ramp, and I never really get an impactful crowd reaction. Even when I set my created character to have mixed reaction from the crowd, I didn't really hear any boos or get the sense that it's mixed. I felt the entrances could be a bit better in this game. As far as the wrestling moves go, executing some of the moves take a few matches to really get down. I didn't really have too much trouble with it. It's kind of a button masher, but at the same time, you do execute specific moves, and they're pretty satisfying to do. The L1, for example, you counter grapples. R1 is for countering melees, and when you can time those correctly, you can get some really nice counters and momentum. I would start with some strikes, wear them down, grapple, and execute a few moves. I would try and climb the turnbuckle, and that could be a bit spotty. Sometimes it works, sometimes the angle is off, or another wrestler or prop is in the way. But jumping off of them is super fun, and also really funny when my wrestler misses. The more I played, the better I got as far as grappling, pushing off the ropes, executing my moves, as well as the specials. I learned that once you execute your signature, if you taunt right after that, then it becomes a special, and then you're able to finish them and pin them easily after. You can see the meters below when it tells the health of the wrestlers and how weak they become, and the more you wear them down. I really like to taunt. It's always funny when that happens. And Sammy's are great. I mean, look at this. As you can see, AEW Fight Forever has so much room for being a great party game. Couch co-op as well as online play can gather you and your friends into matches where you are jumping off ropes, ignoring the tag-ins, and going all out with 2-on-2, no DQ, and just laughing at how silly it looks, especially when your wrestler just completely fails at something. Hell, you could even play a match where it's an exploding ring. Absolutely hilarious stuff. As far as playing online, unfortunately, there doesn't seem to be crossplay like we originally thought. Kenny Omega was quoted saying that there was going to be crossplay, but after digging through some articles and seeing the fact page on THQ, it does unfortunately say no crossplay between platforms, which now makes sense because while I was online, I only seem to have access to my PSN friends list. So that's disappointing, but as far as me playing against somebody on PS5, I had my husband wrestle with me and it was a pretty good experience. It worked pretty well. The only odd thing is that I could not see who he was picking as his wrestler until we both readied up. So keep that in mind as there's a chance you could pick the same wrestler. But other than that, it was a pretty good time and I was impressed. I really do think that AEW Fight Forever can impress you too, especially if you're like me and looking for that kind of old school arcade wrestling feeling again. However, I mentioned before about the content being good to start with, but the question is it enough? If you buy the deluxe edition of the game, you're set to receive all the DLC that's upcoming. But if you don't, you're going to have to buy the season pass or just do without new content. It's actually been discovered by data miners that Stadium Stampede is a mode that's being held back behind DLC, and it's not available at launch. As you can see from my review, it wasn't there. That mode, along with the other planned DLC, can give the impression that this game will be supported, which is a good thing, but also it looks like content is being purposefully held back and not at launch in order for you to buy the season pass later, even if the content might be ready. I mean, it's 2023. These types of things don't really surprise me anymore, and it is disappointing that more isn't here day one, but I still feel that the content that is here is enough for you to have some major fun, especially with friends. Just don't play the mini games. Trust me, don't do it. They're not worth it. they're pretty awful. There's 3 of them, and really, you could do without them. I tried it once, probably will never touch them again. But anyways, when it comes to the rest of the content, I had a lot of fun with this game. I'm gonna keep playing it. It will be awesome to play with others online. I could imagine myself streaming this game, having a good time with friends, and I would recommend it. I definitely would, especially, again, if you're into that kind of old school spirit when it comes to these wrestling games. But yeah, that's pretty much my review. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope it was informative. Definitely let me know if you're picking up AEW Fight Forever. Let me know in the comments section. And I hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, and I will catch you in my next video. Bye.